is not about the classes, courses. In order to have helpful, sufficient biblical counseling, we need to have some knowledge about the counseling. I mean, it is basically hardly connected to psychological counseling. Okay, with that basis of good knowledge of secular counseling, we can have more efficient biblical counseling. Biblical counseling in which we're gonna study about the Bible passages that tells us about how we can perform the biblical counseling. So, like I said one more time, it is very important. We have to build the basis, foundation of biblical counseling, which is coming from secular counseling. Mostly psychological counseling. That is the most important foundation of biblical counseling. So this quarter, we're gonna go over some important topics about chapter 1. We're gonna talk about what is counseling. So we're gonna find out the definition in academical, psychological definition of counseling. That is derived from psychodynamic theory, behavioral theory. We're gonna see a cognitive behavioral theory, and then the humanistic person-centered theory, existential theory, family systems theory, solution-focused brief theory, multicultural counseling. These are all specialized secular counseling. With help of those various theory, we can have good foundation of biblical counseling. Then let's see another topic we're gonna cover. That is that is all about the next topic we're gonna cover is then we will talk about biblical counseling. We like to find out the definition of biblical counseling. And then also we like to compare between secular counseling and biblical counseling too. Also, with help of Bible, we like to see the meanings, the passages that is related to biblical counseling. And then it is very important. We have to understand the role of biblical counseling. There are many morality, ethics, behavior, the way you do counsel to the people we have to learn those things too. And then also, we like to see how the biblical counseling is working. I mean, start, and then many ways we have to go through and how we can finish those counselings. Then also with with the help of Bible passages, we can have better biblical counseling. Also, another essential part of biblical counseling is we need to have the help of Holy Spirit. Without the Holy Spirit, it is nothing to do with biblical counseling. So it is very important to understand the role of Holy Spirit. Then also we like to see the human nature. Actually, it is focused on the sins that is coming from the Adam and Eve, and how we can handle those things with human hurts. We're gonna like to learn about those things too. The relation between the sins, a problem of sins actually, and then the human hurts. Okay, another topic we like to cover is also the sanctification. Sanctification is also very, very important part in biblical counseling. Sanctification means you become more holy, you become more like Jesus, you become more like almost complete of becoming Jesus. The figure of characteristics of Jesus and God. That is sanctification. Okay, so we also learn how important this sanctification is. Then another part, okay, we're gonna lastly start actual case studies. Okay, we're gonna have example of counselor actually how they do for the people in counseling. That's we're gonna bring some cases to study about how actually it goes. Then I think that's the topics we're gonna cover. Also, we can cover a little bit of marriage counseling too. That is also important. Why we have conflicts between people, and actually in family, husband and wife, there should be good times. Also, either we have some hard times too, right? With conflict. So we're gonna learn about how we resolve those conflicts between husband and wife. So those cases, we're gonna also look up those things too. Okay, I think that's all about the topics we're gonna cover through this whole quarter. Okay, first I'm gonna show you some of the slides that I prepared, and we're gonna see a short video before start actual slideshow. Okay, this class code is OEC 106, Foundation of Biblical Counseling. Let's see one video from about what the counseling is all about.
Counseling will help. How? People often ask, does counseling work? I always answer yes. Let's take a look. There they all are. All different. All have different needs. Yes, we are all different. There is no such thing as needy. Only needs that need to be met. Okay, but where does counselling fit in? Life is difficult for everyone. Really? Yes, really. How? Life can be dangerous, chaotic, unpredictable, hazardous. Bad things happen, not because we are bad, they just do. People can be left feeling depressed, anxious and overwhelmed. Lonely, isolated, hopeless. So how can talking to someone help? Great question. Counseling stops people doing the same old things. You will sit and talk to someone who will listen, and you really listen, without judgment or fear. Counsellors have big ears, warm hearts, and strong minds. Your counsellor is very well trained. They know how to listen. They will work to get to know you and how you feel. You will meet at the same place at the same time. It will become familiar. Your counsellor, the room and the place will be a constant. This will be your space and only yours. You will start to feel safer. You will start to feel more held. When someone is hearing and thinking about us, we can start to make sense of what we feel. When we think more clearly, and when we feel more clearly, we feel stronger, and we make better decisions. When we get to know ourselves, we can start liking ourselves. Life starts to feel less hard. Life will not always be easy, but you will feel better and so make better choices.
Okay, the video shows one of tactics about the counseling. Instead of, there are many different theories, ways of counseling. Like I said earlier, mentioned earlier before, there are many different counseling techniques, but mostly the mainstream of the counseling is all about listen and talking and listen. That's the all about the counseling. Because sometimes we need a person to talk to that helps to resolve your problem, hardships. When you have problem, you have a hard time, or you have any difficulties, you talk to somebody, right? Once you finish talking with somebody, your hardships, difficulties can be eased, right? That is the basic concept of counseling. So, when we talk about the counseling, it is all about specialized, professional talking and listening. So it helps for you to resolve your own problems, difficulties, hardships, any kind of problem with with relationships with somebody. That is basic concept of counseling. Okay, let's find out. In this topic, foundation of biblical counseling. So, what is counseling? In academically, counseling is professional part. That is also collaborate process. The process in which well-trained counselors, they help people, individual, couples, families, or group of individuals. The counselors, they navigate, address personal, emotional, psychological, relational challenges of counseling. So, one more time, counseling is professional, collaborate process. Counselors are well trained with profession tactics that helps individuals, couples, families, mostly with the part of talking and listening. There are many different theories in counseling. Here I show you the most famous counseling tactics. First one is the psychodynamic theories, behavioral theories, cognitive behavioral theory, that is called the CBT, and humanistic personal-centered theory, and existential theory, family systems theory, solution-focused brief theory, that is called SEBT, and multicultural counseling. These are all different counseling tactics we have to learn about. Also, since we are good with a secular counseling, we move on to biblical counseling. Biblical counseling is also the process of using Bible passages, scriptures, to address and solve the personal, relational, spiritual problems, and struggles and difficulties. That has also go with that is with the goal of helping people grow. That is goal of biblical counseling. Grow means you become more like Christ-like person. That is the goal of biblical counseling. So when we learn about biblical counseling, we also like to compare between biblical counseling and secular counseling. Also, next topic, we're gonna look at more passages in Bible that helps, that support your biblical counseling. Also, we have to learn about what the role of the biblical counselor. Also, the Holy Spirit takes important role in biblical counseling. So we like to see what the role of the biblical, Holy Spirit in counseling. Also, we like to see everyone has any state of problem, any kind of problem, right? So we like to more focus on why we have problems. So we the reason why it is because of the problem of the sin that is descended from Adam, right? So we're gonna look up the problems of the sins, and then it also work with human hurts. So we're gonna talk about those things too. Also, another topic through this quarter we're gonna cover is counseling and sanctification. Like I said, the sanctification means almost you become like, Christ-like person. That is becoming sanctification. Okay. Also, we're gonna look in the Bible what the Bible says about the love and then communications between people. Okay, that is the topic we're gonna cover too. Also, it is very important. Every day, everyone, we have facing the challenges. Thank you. Yeah, the challenges in everyday life. Most of our problem is, related. Surfaced with emotional issues. Some people have depression problem, right? Some people have a feeling of overwhelmed. Those all about emotional issues. So we're gonna find out how we can resolve those kind of emotional issues in the Bible. Also, in biblical counseling, we like to see how we can manage our marriage life and family issues. And we're gonna look up the Bible too, and then we find the true meaning of the marriage and family too. Then lastly, we like to see actual case study that is held between actual counselor and then person. So once we done all of those things, we can be well equipped with biblical counseling. Okay, now let's start about chapter 1. That's the topic of what is counseling. Counseling is a professional, collaborative process in which a well-trained counselor helps people, individuals, couples, boyfriend and girlfriend, husband and wife, and also families, any kind of group of people. So counseling is helping people, in which counseling navigates, find out the personal, emotional, psychological issues, problems, challenges. That is counseling. Okay, counseling is professional. Okay, the goal of counseling is helping people. How it helps people? Counselors first navigate. They try to find out with talking with the patient, and address their challenges and give ideas of resolving those challenges. That is counseling. Actually, when counseling is performed, that involves therapeutic relationships. Actually, relationship means therapeutic relationship means talking about trust, empathy, open communication. So this is how counselors work with patients. They have counselors. They have to build trust relationships. Counselors have to have open mind to listen any kind of issue your patient says. So there should be, any kind of topic with open communication. That is a therapeutic relationship. So when client feels safe to explore their feelings, their thoughts, their behavior, and their life issues, they can talk to you. So when you do counseling, first you have to have trust relationship between you and patients. Without trusted relationship, you cannot move on to next counseling process, because you don't have trusted relationship with patient. They don't open their mind. They don't talk about their problem. They don't talk about their experiences. So it is very important to build confident, trust relationship between you and your patient or client. And then ultimately, the goal of counseling is, like I said before, it is giving help. Actually, give some kind of idea to resolve their challenges, issues, problems. So, counseling is giving a power to your clients. Also, have them to equip with, they can face the challenges in their lives. I mean, equipping means, okay, hey, Mike, you're a good person, you have good dreams, you have good visions, you have honest mind, okay? If there are any problem you face, you can overcome it. That is equipping someone to deal with his challenges and problems, then eventually overcomes, defeat their problems and challenges. I mean, actually, give them the ability to deal with their problems, issues, and challenges. That is equipping. That you prepare your patient to deal with their, challenges, problems. That is the goal of counseling. So one more time, goal of counseling is you giving the power, the ability for your client, patient to deal with their challenges, problems. So that is the goal of counseling. Okay, next. Okay, later we're gonna go over more detail about those topics. I just like you to know, familiar with those terms. Key elements in counseling. Okay, when we do counseling, we have to equip some kind of techniques, guidance, supporting. You have your client. Guidance support means you help your client to understand, clarify their problems, their issues, their challenges. And then also self-exploration means you lead them to, the self-understanding situation. And then also you help them to grow in their emotional status. Also skill building means copying some kind of strategy, tactics. You have to have communication skills, also problem solving techniques. That is skill building. As you are counselor, you have to have those kind of tactics, skills. And goal-oriented. As as you are a counselor, you have to set the certain specific goals that should be achievable. Okay. Also, that is also aligned. That is go along with client's value too, and then also their needs. Okay, some clients came to me. He says he wanna be a baseball player, right? But right now he is really depressed. He says, I'm afraid, I cannot be professional baseball player because I'm very short. I'm not, I don't run, fast, or I don't have good, physical movement ability, right? But okay, that is kind of problem visually you can face. But if you try your hard training, you can overcome your physical difficulties, right? That is kind of counseling, to equip your client to face, realize their problem, and eventually have them to overcome their challenges. So always when you do your counseling tactics align with their needs, their goals too. Okay? That is really helping to resolve your clients' issues and challenges. And confidentiality, that is also very important. That is also talking about the ethics of professional counselors. Okay, when you do counsel with somebody, your client, right? First, you build a good relationship with your client, and then they start to talk about their problems, right? Some things, sometimes even they talk about kind of their secrets, right? For example, when I was very young, I was very, attempted to steal to get someone else's property, something like that, right? But if that is kind of a secret, that's the only one I know, right, about myself. But if you don't keep the confidentiality, it is, we can say you are not counselor. When you hear someone else's script, don't speak to anybody's, okay? Just keep that secret or any kind of story, keep it you and your client, not with someone else's. That is confidentiality. That is really, really important. Okay. There are many, many different psychological theory. Okay, when we perform counseling, most of those theory is coming from where? Psychology, sociology too. So the background of those the psychotherapy counseling theory, most of those theories has background of psychology, sociology. So later we're gonna learn about psychodynamic theory. Have you guys heard of Sigmund Freud? Maybe you guys know that Freud. He is number one figure in counseling, or actually he is neurologist. He was doctor studying about our brain, okay? But he has very, later I'm gonna talk about more about him. Anyway, he is number one figure in counseling. He has built the foundation of counseling. So we're gonna learn psychodynamic theory too, also behavioral theory too. That is also important to learn about those theory too. And cognitive behavioral theory, we're gonna learn. Next one is humanistic person-centered theory. Then next one is existential theory. Okay, other one is family system theory. And then solution-focused brief theory. And lastly, this type O, multicultural counseling too. These are most common and famous counseling theories. So we're gonna see how those theories are working. Okay. Okay, so far so good? Okay. Okay, good. Okay. Here you guys heard of conscious mind and unconscious mind, subconscious mind. Maybe I am pretty sure you guys heard of those terms. Okay, in Korean words, 의식, 무의식, 잠재의식. Sorry that I said in Korean, but I have translated in here Chinese too, okay? The first person talking about that those conscious, unconscious, preconscious, subconscious. Maybe you guys have heard of another term, ego. My ego is something, right? Ego and it, super ego. He has built those terms too. Who is Sigmund Freud? He is the number one important figure in counseling, also psychologist too. So he built psychodynamic therapies. For psychodynamic therapy, psychoanalysis we call, that is based on breath that is related to unconsciousness, unconscious mind. Who is founder of psychotherapy, psychodynamic therapy that is helping counseling. So he is talking about the thoughts, feelings, memories, those things influence our behavior and also our mental health too. he says there are three parts of our, three status of our mind. First, conscious mind. Next, unconscious mind. And pre-conscious mind. We're gonna see what those things are too. Sigmund Freud, the psychodynamic theory that has put importance on the role of unconscious mind. This guy, the Freud, he has more study on focusing on our unconscious mind. I'm gonna explain later what is unconscious mind, okay? Briefly, conscious is actually you realize what you do, the real time. I am talking to you, I'm talking to you, you listen to my words, that is conscious. Everything, the present moment, I realize, right? I understand, I'm aware of, that is conscious mind. It could be something like, tomorrow I want to make a plan, what I can do tomorrow, right? That is also part of conscious mind. Later, I'm going to talk about it later. Anyway, Sigmund Freud, he is more like focused on not conscious mind, unconscious mind. Something we don't know yet. Okay, so we're gonna study that one too. For example, psychodynamic therapy emphasizes the role of unconscious. It is very important to find out what happened when you are in your childhood. Something you have bad, traumatic experience, but once you've grown up, you forget it, right? But still, that traumatic experience influence your thoughts, behavior. That's his idea, okay? So, that affects, influences your emotional and your behavior too. So we're gonna talk about how we can handle those things too. Okay, brief video about who is Sigmund Freud.
Sigmund Freud was a neurologist, most popularly known as the founding father of psychoanalysis, a set of theories and therapeutic techniques used through dialogue between a patient and a psychoanalyst, a sort of talking cure in order to study the unconscious mind, and as a method of treatment for mental disorders. Although it had been discussed before, Freud was the first person to popularize and structure the concept of the unconscious. Despite repeated criticisms of his work, he became recognized as a profound thinker in his age and left a remarkable intellectual legacy. You have probably come across the term Freudian slip before, an error in speech that occurs due to the interference of an unconscious subdued wish or internal train of thought. He called dreams wish fulfillment. His theory proposes that dreams are a byproduct of the dreamer's physical and mental state during sleep and distinguishes between manifest dream, the actual literal subject matter of the dream, and latent dream, the underlying meaning of these symbols. The latent dream being the real dream, and the goal of dream interpretation is to reveal it through concepts such as condensation, reduction, and simplification of rich contents of latent dreams, and displacement and unconscious unconscious process that transfers emotions, ideas, and wishes to diminish anxiety. For Freud, the psyche is composed of the id, ego, and superego. The id is the unconscious instinctual component of personality that is present at birth. It is the source of bodily needs and wants, emotional impulses, and desires. Freud believed there to be two fundamental human drives, the life drive and the death drive. The life drive, or libido, acts according to the pleasure principle characterized by arrows, as well as procreation, social cooperation, and survival. It is oriented to the immediate gratification of impulse and desire and an avoidance of pain. The death drive is characterized by thanatos, which represents death and self-destruction, with instincts such as aggression and risky behavior. The ego acts according to the reality principle. It seeks to please the its drive in realistic ways that, in the long term, bring benefit rather than grief. It allows one to delay gratifying immediate needs and function effectively in the real world. The superego reflects the internalization of cultural rules taught by the guidance and influence of parents, institutions, and ideal models. It works in contradiction to the id. It strives to act in a socially appropriate manner, whereas the id just wants instant gratification. It controls our sense of right and wrong and guilt, helping us fit into society by getting us to act in socially acceptable ways. Thus, the id is a set of uncoordinated instinctual desires, the superego plays the critical and moralizing role, and the ego is the organized, realistic agent that mediates between the instinctual desires of the id and the critical superego. Although the id is unconscious by definition, the ego and superego are both partly conscious and partly unconscious. In founding psychoanalysis, Freud developed therapeutic techniques such as free association, which is the method of listening to patients speak for themselves, working through their own material rather than parroting another's suggestions. It is the content of consciousness without censorship as an aid in gaining access to the
Okay, free association means in this technique, Freud, he let them, your client, speak any kind of issue. Before let them speak anything, any behavior in their mind, actual in real life, and any emotional things, thoughts. Free association means, he has his client to freely speaking any kind of issue, any kind of problem that client has. That is free. With those free issue talking, he was trying to find out the expression of your client's feelings, emotional status. Then he catches your client's problem. So that is free association.
conscious processes. Another important phenomenon is transference, in which a person unconsciously projects feelings onto other people, such as transferring feelings about one's parents to their partners, or mistrusting somebody who resembles an ex-spouse in manners, voice, or external appearance. Psychosexual development is central to the psychoanalytic sexual drive theory. Freud believed that personality developed through a series of childhood stages during which its libidinal energies become focused on different areas of the body. The development of a healthy adult personality is the result of successfully completing each of the psychosexual stages. However, if the child experiences frustration, it might lead to fixation, which is the persistent focus of its pleasure-seeking energies at the early stages of psychosexual development. These fixations occur when an issue in one of the stages remains unresolved, leaving the individual essentially stuck or fixated at that point of development. and unable to move on to the next, causing them to experience anxiety that would persist into adulthood as a neurosis, a functional mental disorder. The first one is the oral stage, which starts from birth and lasts around a year. The infant's mouth is the focus of libidinal gratification derived from the pleasure of feeding at the mother's breast and from the oral exploration of their environment. In this stage, the id dominates because neither the ego nor the superego is fully developed, and every action is based upon the pleasure principle. The ego is slowly forming as the infant starts to develop a body image and delay gratification. Weaning, or the process of gradually withdrawing the infant's supply of its mother's milk and introducing it to another diet, makes the infant lose the physical intimacy with their mother. This increases the infant's self-awareness that they do not control the environment and thus learn of delayed gratification. Issues during this stage may cause the infant to develop an oral fixation during their life, characterized by immaturity, passivity, and unrealistic optimism. The second stage of psychosexual development is the anal stage, spanning from the age of 18 months.
Okay, the Sigmund Freud, he was research studied on childhood, psychosexual status. It is very important. Some kind of experience when you experienced, like when you're a baby or early child, the sexual, in here expressed, the sexual experience is not like man meets woman, woman meets me. It's not physical, okay? Some kind of touch. Okay, me as baby, I sucked for milk to my mom's chest, right? That is also, in his view, it was sexual, contact. He has made the steps of oral contact and other contexts, right? In those steps, when you were a baby, you unaware of what you did, but any kind of experience you had when you were a baby or early child, that still affects, that still influence your present behavior and emotion. That's one of the theory of Freud's psychoanalyst therapy. Okay.
3 years. Controlling bowel movements is the child's key experience. It results in conflicts between the id, demanding immediate gratification, and the ego, demanding delayed gratification, in eliminating bodily wastes. Fixations at this point in development can lead to what Freud called anal retentive and anal expulsive personalities. In the anal retentive personality, the parents may have overemphasized bowel movement control, which can lead to the development of a compulsive personality, a person too concerned with neatness and order. In the anal expulsive personality, an underemphasis on controlling bowel movements can lead to the development of a self-indulgent personality and environmental disorder. The resolution in the id-ego conflict is in the child's adjusting to parental influences, teaching the value and importance of physical cleanliness and environmental order, thus producing a self-controlled adult. However, it must not be developed with the parent's will, which creates a weak sense of self, but with the child's ego. The third stage is the phallic stage, which occurs from the ages of 3 to 6 years. In this stage, children become aware of their bodies and the bodies of other people, learning the physical and sexual differences between male and female. The decisive experience is the Oedipus complex, complex, which originally refers to the sexual desire of a son for his mother while focusing emotional rivalry against his father. It is a desire for the parent in both males and females, and that boys and girls experience differently. Boys in a form of castration anxiety, girls in a form of penis envy. This creates an unconscious psychological defense mechanism that reduces anxiety arising from unacceptable or potentially harmful stimuli. The first defense mechanism is repression, the blocking of memories and emotional impulses from the conscious mind. The second defense mechanism is identification, by which the child incorporates to their ego the personality characteristics of the same-sex parent. Freud considered this to be the successful outcome of the complex. The fourth stage is the latency stage, that spans from the age of 6 years until puberty, wherein the child consolidates the character habits they developed in the three earlier stages. Whether or not the child has successfully resolved the Oedipus complex, instinctual drives of the id are inaccessible to the ego, because their defense mechanisms repress them during the phallic stage. Hence, because said drives are latent, hidden, and gratification is delayed, the child must derive the pleasure of gratification directing the libidinal drives towards external activities, such as school, friendship, and hobbies. The last stage is the genital stage, that spans from puberty through adult life. Its purpose is the psychological detachment and independence from the parents. The ego established in the individual shifts from instant gratification to gratifying desire through responsibility, family, friendship, and relationship. However, a psychological fixation can lead to great difficulty in forming a healthy sexual relationship with another person. Although many of Freud's assumptions have been brought into question since the advent of his work, he remains the father of psychoanalysis and a significant contributor to understanding human personality via the results of largely unconscious internal conflicts among the structures of the human mind. The dynamics of these conflicts through early stages of development can determine an individual's personality throughout his life.
Okay. He also Freud, he covered many different kind of topics about counseling and psychoanalytic theories. He covered conscious, unconscious, subconscious, preconscious mind, and he covered id, ego, superego, and also he has more emphasis on also psychosexual therapy. Some experience in that psychosexual stages when we are young or child, baby, some experience we had at that stage still influence present time my feelings, my behaviors too. Some scholars agree or not agree, okay? But mostly it is very meaningful theory about his psychoanalytic theories. That is, the psychosexual therapy is very important in his psychoanalytic theories. Okay, now let's go a little bit more about psychoanalytic theories. Sigmund Freud. Okay, it has goal. What is goal of this theory? Okay, helping clients bring into the conscious the unconscious. He tried to find out something unconscious. Because why? Something happened, some kind of experience, but that is not unconscious. You cannot remember. You don't know what happened when you were young or any other time, right? but something influence your behavior and emotion too. He tried to find that. Unconscious. And then it was helping client to work through development stage that was not resolved. Eventually he tried to, it was become fixed. So he tried to find out actual, give ideas and resolve of the client's challenges that is coming from unconscious thing, okay? And then also eventually he tried to have adjust, his client to adjust to their work and social environment and job and families. That is the goal of Sigmund Freud. Okay, before that, so we like to see this one. Okay, just forget. You don't need to remember. Okay, those things. Okay, just if you remember this graphic, that is, if you understand that, actually I call this iceberg. Okay, if you understand this graphic, you almost learn about, you can say you know about counseling. Okay. Okay. In this handout that I gave you, I translated Chinese and Korean too. Okay. Freud says we have some different kind of mindset. Okay. I am talking to you, you listening, I'm preparing something for my work, I am planning project. That is all I am talking, I am working. All of these things are performed because I am conscious. That means I'm aware of everything right now, okay? So when you see this picture, conscious mind means the tip of iceberg is over surface of the water, right? So you can see top of iceberg, you can see it, right? You can visualize, that is conscious. You know what it is. You know what you're talking about. You know what you do, right? That is consciousness. But also he says there are another stage of mind, pre-conscious mind. You don't know now. I am talking to my students, but I don't record it. I don't remember it right now. I am talking about, I'm lecturing, right? But when I see someone has red shoes, oh, I just saw that, okay? Red shoes. Oh, I remember. The red shoes was my best friend's shoes color. That happens every day, right? When you see something, you remember other things, connected things you see, right? When you hear some kind of melody, oh, I remember I heard that music when I was falling in love with my first love, right? That is preconscious. You can bring it exists in your mind. It could be memory, experience, or emotion. But right now, you don't recall it. But when you see something, you can directly connect those preconscious experience, emotions, thoughts. That is preconscious. And then, deeper to the sea, you see unconscious. That means you don't know what it was. Yeah. But that is still exists, stays in your mind. But you don't know what it was. You know what I mean, right? Yeah. Sometimes something drives me crazy. But I know something makes me do, certain kind of behavior and speak, right? But I don't know why. You have those kind of experience too, right? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing some kind of crazy things? But I don't know why. Because that is coming from your unconscious mind. It could be any experience, any traumatic, any enjoyable experience. It could be anything. Emotion, activity, experience. So, Sigmund studied those things. Okay, just remember conscious, preconscious, unconscious. Preconscious is kind of bridge between conscious and unconscious. Conscious mind, you are aware of everything. You know everything right now. Reality. Okay, preconscious, you don't remember, but anytime you can bring it, right? What it was. Oh, yesterday? I'm not talking about yesterday, but okay, you told me, hey, professor, I was watching soccer game yesterday, right? You say to me, oh yeah. Oh yeah, I also did watch soccer game yesterday. That is coming from preconscious. Okay? Then unconscious, like I said, I don't know what it was. But it is inside my mind. So Freud tried to focus to find out those things. Because hugely that influences your thoughts, behaviors in your present time. That's what's his idea. So let's see, let's go over a little bit of definition reading, okay? First, I'm gonna read conscious, unconscious, subconscious mind. Okay, subconscious mind means subconscious, includes preconscious, unconscious. Okay, just below the surface of the water. Okay, above the water, conscious. So, conscious mind, the definition is part of your mind that is aware of your current surrounding, right? Your thoughts, right? You experience, that. It operates present moment, now time. Yeah. It is directly accessible, right? Yeah. Okay, that has function, decision making. Yeah. I do this every day, right? Awareness, you know that. You watch TV, you read book, right? And then also that has influence on your voluntary action, right? Yes. Oh, I'm hungry. Yeah, let's find a restaurant. Yes, that is coming from all conscious mind. So, example. So you make a mind what you want to say when you have conversation, right? You solving puzzle, yes. You study, and you solve mathematical equation, yes. That is conscious mind. Okay. The theory says Freud's psychoanalytic theory, the conscious mind is small part of overall mental activity, but important for intentional actions. Okay, conscious mind takes like only 10% of our mind. Most people think I am conscious because I am conscious, I do right action. That is misunderstanding. Because when you say what you listening is happening in present time, so you think that is everything of your mind, right? But he says no. It is only shows the surface of the water, like tip of iceberg. It takes only 10% of your mind. Most 50-60 takes preconscious, 30-40 takes lot of portion. 30-40% takes unconscious mind. That's what it says. Okay. Also, I'm gonna go of preconscious mind. Okay. That is preconscious mind serves a transitional layer. It's like it acts like a bridge between conscious and unconscious mind. So that includes information, memories. Yeah, yesterday memory I have, right? Also you have information. You are away from your work, but you know them. You know all the scarce tactics in your job environment, right? Yeah, that is information, memories. That is not currently conscious awareness, but it can be easily brought to real time, right? You can recall, you can remember easily. You know what you did yesterday, right? Yeah, that is part of preconscious. And it has also characteristic. It is accessible. Okay. Anytime when you make up your mind to remember, you can find out what you did 2 days ago, 3 days ago, right? And it has a role of bridge. Bridge means connection, okay? Connection between what? Conscious and unconscious mind. It has bridge, it has connection part, that is preconscious, that act as bridge between conscious and unconscious mind. Okay, it has temporary storage. Okay, that has information that is not from immediately relevant, but may become useful later. So it has function as memory, recall, right? Remember, preparations. Okay, and dream and daydream too. That is not real time. Dreaming is you sleep, you have dream that is coming from where? Preconscious. Also sometimes, maybe you guys have experienced some brilliant, smart idea comes and go quickly, right? Okay, when you have a job situation, but I don't know, when you drive, you finish your job, you drive your car to home, but some good ideas coming quickly goes away, right? That is coming from preconscious. That time, write it down. It is a short memory. Was quickly. Later, you cannot remember what it was, right? Oh, I know. There was, I thought good, idea at that time, but I don't know what it was detailing.
It applies to
Same experience, right? You have, right?
not that often. I think that applies more to the art people.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
yes,
the
yes,
creation.
yes, yes,
Right,
yes.
the
Yes.
music.
Yes, artistic people,
artists.
they may have more those things
Yeah.
comes and goes. Yeah.
Mhm. Because those are the creation.
Okay, and then Freud views preconscious as critical part of your mind structure. Okay, that is still very important part of your mind. Okay, it contains thoughts, feelings that is not repressed. Okay, but not immediately conscious. Okay, your memories of yesterday, it was stored in preconscious mind, but when you're talking about that, yes, the actions, what you did yesterday, as soon as you're talking about that, it becomes conscious. Because I'm talking right now about things happened yesterday, right? So, okay, when you see the comparison chart, you can find out the difference between conscious, preconscious, and conscious mind. So, at the end of this quarter, you only know what is conscious, what is preconscious, what is unconscious. If you know that, you did good job, okay? Okay. Okay. I'm not explaining about subconscious. Subconscious means, two parts. Preconscious, unconscious. Together we call subconscious. Okay. And more importantly, I think it is almost the time. Finish. Okay. Okay, just read. Okay, yeah. Let's finish. Here. So, when you're talking about psychology, when you're talking about counseling, you have to know this. Okay? Without knowing this theory, you cannot counsel to people. As your counselor, you need to try to find out. Not only surface, right? Because the surface, everybody knows. But as your counselor, try to find out these things, recalls, preconscious. That is the most important part. Like I said, you do have some kind of emotion right now. You do some kind of, behavioral act, right? It has a reason. Why? Some kind of experience, emotion, you don't know, but it exists in your mind, unconscious mind. That influence your present idea, thoughts, emotion, and action. That is important part. Okay, next week, we're gonna go over more of this. This is very important part. Okay, thank you guys. See you next week. Okay, don't forget to bring this, okay? Next week we're gonna start more of that. And then also we have a textbook as front. If you wanna buy, you can buy. Yeah.
他们强制让你买，他们强制让你买的书。